And we're back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast, bringing you our fifth and final segment for today, which is going to be talking about Boston Red Sox and the extension to their manager, Alex Cora. So let's get into that. So Alex Cora's future has been something that I think has been really under the radar for this Red Sox team for a little while now. It's something that I've had my eyes on for a little while, as it's been really interesting because on paper he should have extended a long time ago. I mean, he had 1 year left in his contract going into this year. And it's very rare for managers to be a free agent or go into a year not having a new contract. I mean, you saw with Craig Counsell last year, and he got a huge contract from the Cubs. Obviously, that hasn't exactly worked out the greatest for either party, but still, that is an example of it. And going into this year, it was very interesting how we heard a lot of murmurs that Cora didn't want to stay with the Red Sox. He wanted to move on, go to the free agent market, see what he could get, and that was really interesting to me. And we're now seeing that either that was a lie or they offered him a lot of money. It was announced today by Jeff Passan that they were finalizing a 3-year contract for him to remain as manager, and it was then announced that there would be $70 million per year on his contract, $21 million over 3, the second highest manager contract ever, of course behind the big fish of last year, Craig Counsell, who had a huge contract getting it in the offseason as a free agent, which again, you never see managers get a free agent contract, quote unquote, just, kind of how it is. Not players, they're managers. So with that, it was really, really interesting to be able to dive deep into this and just kind of talk about the Red Sox now with this. So yeah, first of all, I want to say I like this contract a lot. I think Alex Cora is a really solid manager. I know some fans don't like him because some of his on-field decisions aren't the greatest, but I'm still firmly of the belief that managers really ever make on-field decisions anymore. I really think most of that comes from above the general manager, president of baseball operations. Them, I think they're really the ones making the lineups, telling them what pitching changes they want in the game, whatever situation comes up. I do believe that always happens. So as much as I do think there is some control managers have nowadays, it's definitely not as much as they used to have. I mean, that's why you're seeing older managers kind of get out of the game a little bit because they're not going to take those orders. I mean, you just saw Buck Showalter really as the last old guy to get pushed out. I mean, Bob Melvin is still in baseball, yeah, but he's, I'd say, more modern of the older managers. Bruce Bochy's there as well. I would kind of put that as a little bit of a, just a little bit of a, he's just there. He's kind of, I forgot the word now, of course, but yeah. So with Cora, I like the ascension a lot. I think that Cora is a very good manager. I like his decisions a lot. I like the way, mainly, which I think managers are doing nowadays. I like the way he's always been able to put the clubhouse together. The Red Sox have dealt with a lot of adversity and a lot of different situations over these past few years with their management, with their team, and it's always seemed like the dugout had a lot of good vibes going on it. The players always liked each other. There was never really any reported problems, even with all that going on. So I think Cora's done always a really good job with that. And having consistency as manager is very important as well. That's why you're seeing all these teams hire younger managers who maybe don't have the most experience, but still are young. I mean, you just saw the Guardians hire Stephen Vogt as their manager, who had zero managing experience ever, zero coaching experience. I mean, he just got out of being a baseball player 2 years before. So you're seeing, and also that's worked out great. The Guardians are one of the best teams in baseball. So not exactly like it's just not working. You're seeing this nowadays a lot more, where they're hiring younger managers to develop them and kind of looking at them as prospects and being able to keep them for a long time, because a consistency at a leadership position like manager is very, very important for baseball and very important for these teams as well. I think Cora, again, knows what he's doing there, has a ton of friends within that Red Sox dugout. A lot of players would go to bat for him, and being able to extend him now, I think, is a really good job by them, and I think really helps you lock down a piece of your future. This Red Sox team really has revitalized their future with this year. I think a lot of people, including myself, were really not expecting that great of a year. Kind of just a mediocre year to kind of get really towards next year after not spending a lot of money. But you've had a lot of breakout performances. I mean, Tyler O'Neill has become a fantastic, fantastic hitter with this team. Kenley Jansen has had a career resurgence. Nick Pivetta, Tanner Houck, Garrett Whitlock have become really solid pitchers for this team. And they're now very close to a wild card position in this AL. So you've really had your future become revitalized within this year, and I think keeping a part of that, which is Alex Cora, on for the next 3 years is very important. Cora's become a mainstay in that Red Sox organization. Of course, the 1 year he was out because he was suspended because of his because of his part in the Astros sign stealing scandal when he was the Astros third base coach, of course. Other than that, he's been there consistently. He's been a great presence, and again, I'm very happy that the Red Sox were able to get this done. And it was really interesting to me that I had heard a lot of rumors from very valuable Red Sox sources that Cora didn't want to extend with this Red Sox team and wanted to test his value. Now, I don't know if that was true or not true. I think maybe he was true, and they just gave him the money he wanted, so kind of been interesting there. But obviously, the Red Sox ownership has not spent as much money as fans, and I would say now Cora would like them to. There was a comment last offseason that I think really stuck with a lot of people was someone asked Cora, what moves are you going to be making? He said, I don't really expect us to make any big moves. We're kind of just staying put. You don't really want your manager saying that. It kind of doesn't really show faith in the current ownership group and the current general manager group there as well. I mean, you had Chaim Bloom just get fired as well, so you obviously had a little bit of a change up there in the big boy offices and the general manager and president of baseball operations there. But I think now keeping Cora and being able to have him as a big part of your future is very exciting. And there are a lot of manager openings after this year. I think that Cora could have gone a lot of places, and it would have been really, really interesting to see what people would have paid for a guy like Cora, who has a lot of experience. He's relatively young. People like him. You don't really ever hear anything bad about him. Of course, you heard the Astros sign stealing stuff, but he was the third base coach. What is he really gonna do with that? I mean, it's not really his fault. It's a lot of other people's fault more than him. So I don't really take that. I typically take that as a grain of salt mostly. So I think for the Red Sox being able to get this contract done, secure a big part of your future right now is very good. And looking at this Red Sox team at the deadline, they're a very interesting team. I mean, I don't know if they should buy. I don't really know if they should sell. I don't really know either. I don't think they should full out sell. I mean, they're clearly not in rebuilds anymore. They're clearly a team that is going to try at least be competitive, and a team that is going to try at least win some games. And you do have some one-year contracts on your books, Kenley Jansen, Tyler O'Neill, but both have been very solid players for you. So what do? Do you keep them? Do you extend them? Do you trade them? Do you try to go for it and add other pieces as well, rentals, controllable pieces? So overall, I think that this Red Sox deadline is going to be very, very interesting to watch, very exciting to be able to see. And yeah, overall, it is something that I am just very interested in watching as a team. And I think extending your young manager who has proven to be a star in this league, who would have been very coveted, is a good first step, and I'm very excited for it. I also think manager contracts can be very interesting to watch in the future as well. Two guys I'm looking out for are Mark Kotsay and Skip Schumacher, two great managers, two great young managers as well who have playing experience that are probably going to leave their team after this year because their team is really bad. So that means there's probably be a lot of teams lining up for Schumacher, lining up for Kotsay. I mean, there are a lot of teams that could make manager changes after this year. I think the Giants could be one, and that's a very, very interesting situation to be able to get into. I also think the Padres could be one. I think the Cardinals as well are definitely going to be one, assuming they don't make the playoffs. We'll have to see about that. I don't think the Cubs will have to sign on a huge contract, but he hasn't been really great. So I think the future of manager contracts is also going to be very interesting to watch as well, and something I think becomes a bigger story as baseball continues to grow and continues to move on into the future. So that is my show for today, guys. I want to thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell to not only get notified when I upload, when all the other great content creators on this channel do. Make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram for more content and updates. Thank you so much for watching. I did mention yesterday I thought today would be my trade deadline extravaganza video where I kind of predict everything going on. Unfortunately, I think I'm going to move that back to Monday when I have a lot clearer vision of what teams are going to sell, what teams are going to buy, what players are going to be fully available. So I think I am going to move that back to Monday, and that is when that's going to be. Also have the deadline to fully prepare for that as well and give the best insight, because trade deadline is my favorite time of the year and is always really, really fun to watch. So yeah, thank you again so much for watching today. It's a beautiful day outside. Enjoy it, and we'll see if baseball throws at us tomorrow. Thank you guys, and bye. See you then.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet. Damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to